Welcome to Video Game Rambles, a podcast about video games where we get sidetracked a lot, featuring me, your not so host, Merle, the actual host, Alberto,
At all.
and our best friend, Weiss.
Is this how we're doing this?
This is how we're doing it now.
Oh man,
I've
we're
hijacked
live.
the show.
This is how it all ends.
Wait,
Yep.
I'm streaming live on Twitch. Oh no.
Oh no! Mistakes may have been made.
For the fourth
Anyways.
time.
For the fourth time. Oh geez.
I mean, keep going. We're good. I like where this is going.
Yeah, you don't want to edit this out. Let's just have this all aired right at the beginning. Welcome to Video Game Rambles.
No, go ahead. I mean, you're doing good. I get to relax
You
because
get to kick back, relax. I see how it is.
It's not a bad idea, really.
It's a video game podcast for the modern era.
define modern.
No, not modern. Modern.
Modern.
Modern era.
Modern.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Is that Boo's new form?
No,
Modern
it's
Boo.
a
Wow.
shout out to my brother, and me, an advice podcast for the modern era, with your hosts Justin, Travis, and Griffin McElroy. No, I'm alone.
Yes.
Am I the only one who listens to podcasts here instead of just makes them?
Not that many.
I listened to a
man.
few, but not that one. Actually, I was watching a.
Y'all are missing out.
Well,
Anyway.
I mean, if we want to talk about podcasts, I listened to the Death Battle cast, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And that's the podcast. I also have like 2 other podcasts that I listen to, but you know, that's only when I'm playing Madden. And
I think we got more important things anyway. It's Mario Week.
I mean,
Mario! Well, it's not Mario Week. It's the year of Mario. Luigi's time has come and passed. Mario is here to stay, baby.
But what about Pauline?
Well, she's just the mayor of New Donk City.
What the best theme song of the year?
I mean,
Not only the best theme song of the year, but frankly, one of the best areas in any video game I've played this year. Like, straight up, like, beyond everything else, New Donk City is just... I don't want to say perfect, because it is still, a Mario game. It's a 3D platformer. There's camera issues, there's control issues, there's, the typical stuff that tends to plague any kind of 3D platformer game. But, like, in terms of, like, raw exploration, the variety of stuff you can do, the music, the art direction.
So what you're telling me is it's near perfect.
The mayor, it's like a 9.98 on a scale
Of?
out of 10.
Okay. Just
I mean,
making sure.
Out of all the zones that they had, it was the one where having
the most polished.
bullshit moons all over the place made the most sense, because even getting 2 nonsense moons that were just hanging out there was usually at least interesting, which is a lot more than I could say about some of the other zones.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing. What's your point?
I was gonna say, I remember when Super Mario Odyssey was announced last year or so, and Weiss and I were talking, and I'm like, Weiss, you're missing the most important part. The city is called New Donk City.
That's true. I did on Twitter go ahead and make like an excessive amount of hoopla about my excitement for that zone, because it was it's the New York City zone, but it's New Donk City. It's a love letter to the history and origins of Mario itself. Especially-
go back to Jersey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, some people. What
Wait.
exit, am I right? Ha! Jersey humor. You wouldn't get it.
I wouldn't.
I'm staying away from this one.
Oh, man. But New Donk City is basically like the inveritable hub of like everything that makes Mario Odyssey great, without having a lot of what makes it frustrating by any means. So there's a lot of like wild exploration, turning into things with the fun hat, just straight up platforming. The boss fights were cool. The festival at the end is just a huge callback to Mario's origins, and also features, Pauline singing the theme song that's been used in pretty much every advertisement since the game was first announced. Everything about New Donk City is like to the point of near perfection that some of the other places in the game are just kind of huge letdowns.
I don't know. You know that was what was missing for the Super Mario Odyssey theme song for me?
I don't.
The satisfying switch click.
That's true, but at the same time, it was jazzy and wonderful, and I don't think it needs that to be improved upon, despite like Mario Odyssey being like the number one thing to push sales for the Switch going into this holiday season.
Let's be real here, though. The theme song does have its little sound effects. It's got its, old Mario jump sound. It's got the coin pickup. So it's not like they aren't playing around with at least the Mario side of it a lot.
Yeah.
Odyssey, yes, see.
Yep.
That's where the click sound would be. If I had one.
If you had the Switch sound, by the way, it's not a snap, it's not a click. It is literally referred to by Nintendo as the Switch. That is the term for that sound effect.
I thought it was a snap because every time they made a transition when they're talking about the Switch, they would just snap their fingers and then the.
Because it makes a similar sound, but the official term for that in Nintendo is a Switch. They were asked about it on several different occasions by multiple people.
I wouldn't know. I can't afford a Switch right now.
But I own one, and Weiss owns one, and we've both played and beaten the story of Mario Odyssey. So Weiss, I have a couple questions for you.
Yep.
How many moons did you have when you beat the game, roughly?
I finished at, I believe the exact count was 597. I've been playing it a little bit more because I'm moving and the Switch is really convenient. And I think I'm a little over 700 now.
Okay, I beat it around 220. And I currently have about 540 with a lot of post game play time. Though most of that is just finding moons while running around collecting coins, regional coins, the purple ones, for the sake of fashion, which is the only thing I really care about.
I mean, you make a good point there, though, that the thing that drives you to keep playing it has to be the outfits, because a lot of the collecting is just kind of, for lack of a better term, just nonsense. It's, moons in trees and moons and piles of leaves and moons that are just floating there that you run into. So the big thing for me that kept me actually going back wasn't actually getting moons, because for the most part, once you're done with the story, a lot of the good moons are done. It's, I want this completely ridiculous outfit. Why is Mario dressed up as Diddy Kong? Or, hey, there's the Mario 64 skin where Mario once again looks like Mario 64. And stuff like that was what kept driving me to keep playing the game.
Yeah. So in the game, if you didn't know, there are a maximum of 999 moons that you can collect, 830 unique moons that you can collect. You only need about 500 to really complete the game, because there's apparently like two different levels of endings. And it only takes 120 if you only do the direct amount required by every zone to continue. So there is a lot of the game that is just rewarding you for open exploration, but at the same time, the game is so thickly packed with moons, because you can just readily find them, that the rate at which you earn them and the rate that you need don't line up at all, and sort of really lowers like the overall, like, I don't know if there was an intended difficulty of this game, but like fundamentally the game is not that hard to play. It just rewards you for anywhere you want to explore, you can do it, and you'll get some kind of reward for it. If it's not a moon, it'll be coins, or it'll be at least some fun interaction. Like anytime you see a lot of Goombas, chances are you can stack them up to get a Goomba romance related moon, or anytime there's like a really high up zone and you do crazy movement tech of throwing out your hat, leaping onto your hat, jumping off of your hat, throwing your hat, leaping onto your hat, jumping off of it, etc., 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 to get those high points. Either you'll run into a moon, or in most cases you'll run into a very large amount of coins. So like the game rewards you for open exploration, but it's not like overly punishing to be like bad at it. Like at
Yeah,
most you lose 10 coins anytime you die, which is just inconvenient when you're trying to buy outfits
I
rather
mean,
than complete anything else.
I would say that, the actual act of collecting is very clearly not meant to be difficult. It's definitely something you do incidentally. Um, and the real drive, at least the first time you're going to go through the game, is actually getting through the story modes, because those are really, the ones that were very clearly having a lot of work put into them. Generally speaking, every level is going to have 3 to 5 ish sort of story moons, ones that you were forced to do to get through. Um, and those were usually pretty good. Some of the examples I can think of are like what was it, the Luncheon Kingdom, the one with all the food stuff.
Yeah.
The story path there was, as you went through there, the entire environment of that zone changed because a volcano would be erupting and causing stuff to go all haywire. New Donk City had its whole festival, which is very directly a playable Donkey Kong experience, and not like modern Donkey Kong, the old arcade Donkey Kong. Um, the first time through Bowser's Castle is like a straight line path through Bowser's Castle, but it's all, pretty good little mini boss fights and very much a siege of Bowser's Castle. And those moons are really the thing that drive you to play through the game, but are really the ones that are the high end moons and the ones that are the most fun to play throughout the game.
In going back to a lot of the zones, a lot of what I've found is that some of the exploration still is really rewarding. Like I never ended up in the deep woods of the Wooded Kingdom when I was just going through clearing out the story mission levels, like the story mission side of it. So I had a lot more exploration, like with a zone that I was, relatively unfamiliar with, and that was great. But like going to Bowser's Castle, it's just like I have to climb backwards through it to collect these coins so I can get a different outfit. And like it was just kind of frustrating and not really rewarding when the initial run through the entirety of it was a lot more interesting, a lot more fun, and like that final boss fight, despite being a bait and switch in the zone, was really rewarding to complete because it was an actual challenge just dealing with the different systems that it threw at you during that boss fight.
Yeah, I would say, the post game is sort of one of the things that shows the biggest weaknesses in the game, and that sure the exploration is there, but for the most part, it's not that fun. Bowser's Castle is the big one because you have to go backwards, but most of the zones you go back to the second time after you finish the game, you effectively unlock a second set of moons in each level, and across the board it's like, okay, here's 20 new moons. 10 of them are, you're going to see them from where you're standing at the start of the zone because they're floating there. There's going to be, you know 2 or 3 new pipes in the world that are just like direct rip-offs of Mario Sunshine platforming areas. Some of them are like they take away your hat like you lost Flood in Mario Sunshine. So there's stuff like that where, a lot of the early press on the game was like, oh, it's going back to the open world Mario. It's kind of like, no, they didn't really do that so much as they went to Banjo-Kazooie. And you really start to see that after you beat Bowser.
Yeah. I mean, at least with post game there is some like specific post game content. There is the dark side of the moon that you can access. But it is an incredibly annoying boss rush.
Well,
Not
yeah,
that I
both
hate
of
it.
the
Like
ones
it
were.
was it was a nice, it's a nice concept, but it like provides an actual challenge that you didn't see going through the story mode of that side. Because like the story mode stuff is really easy. Topper is pathetic, flat out, but fighting him in the dark side of the moon presents an actual challenge because of the added, moon gravity, stuff like that. So there is some shift around in the post game, but still fundamentally, like post game isn't great. And I think that that's just a Nintendo issue. I mean, even going to Breath of the Wild is like super open exploration, and I've beaten Breath of the Wild. No spoilers or anything, but like I haven't completed like I haven't even completed half of the total shrines. I've completed 53 out of 120. I collected maybe 80 Korok seeds out of 999. And basically I'm just waiting until Champion's Ballad comes out in December to really explore that extra bit that there isn't currently.
Yeah, I guess the big difference for me there with Breath of the Wild is that in the post game of Breath of the Wild, the experience doesn't really change. Um, you can kind of beat Ganon in that one whenever you feel like it, but it still is, the shrines they're not giveaways. You have to find them, and then they're individual challenges. To me, it felt like both the exploration pre and post Bowser were just kind of, 75% throwaway nonsense, and then 25% really well crafted moons, to where if you took away all the nonsense, you'd probably be looking at a game with about the same amount of moons as Mario 64.
Yeah, you'd be looking at probably around 120 or like maybe 250 at most, which I think is like more around like what Mario Sunshine had for shines.
I kind of forget how many Sunshine had. I don't think it's that much more than 100, but I guess the other thing is that, like, Mario Odyssey, every time you go in a pipe or you go in a door or something like that into those little challenge rooms, you know that there's
Yeah.
2 moons in every one. So it's kind of, you can cut that in half as well.
Yeah. Oh, nope, I am wrong. Mario Sunshine had 120 shine sprites. I thought it was double what 64 had. I was wrong. I think Galaxy 2 is actually the largest like open air Mario game kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see that because I actually played Galaxy 2 and Galaxy. So, I can chime in for a little bit.
I mean, the thing with those two, Galaxy and Galaxy 2, especially Galaxy 2, is that after you beat Bowser, they had entire worlds that were, post game content with well crafted, whatever the hell they were in Galaxy. The stuff that's post game world and Odyssey is just kind of, it's too Bosch for us, Rush, moons, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's not the greatest, but it is still something. Nintendo definitely should work on like, after a story mode, there should be something at least to do.
Like
But
DLC
like,
for more boss rushes?
no, not like that.
I can
But
try.
an extended story or something, rather than just here's a more collectathon moment, that's like Super Banjo-Kazooie is like the quest for pure completion in Mario doesn't necessarily appeal to me because the story was the most interesting thing about it. Really what I focus on now that I've beaten the game is if I run into any moons, cool, but like really all I want is I want to get the 9,999 coins so I can be Skeleton Mario because I want to be ridiculous.
I mean, you already pretty ridiculous.
That's true, but I want to absolutely look ridiculous in a game that allows me to do it. Like being, Super Mario 64 Mario is great because he's just so out of place as a low poly character in a high definition world, but being a skeleton is just really funny. Even though it's like way after Halloween.
I was gonna make a
I just,
Rocco's Modern Life joke when you said low polygon in an HD world.
yeah.
I forgot why that's actually a joke. Oh yeah, now I remember because they brought Rocco's Modern Life back, and they're like, this isn't the '90s.
That's true.
Soon we get our TV movie.
Soon. A lot of things will happen. Like apparently an ARMS update is coming, but nobody plays ARMS anymore.
I just saw that pop up on Twitter.
Same. Oh
Well,
well.
so we've been harping on the progression of Mario. Let's talk about the hat, because that's really kind of the bread and butter of their mechanics. Yeah, all the platforming is all what you expect. Triple jumps there and all that kind of nonsense. The hat is the big thing, though. Throw it at, I don't know, what would you say? Maybe 50% of things in the game, and you take them over. It can be a Goomba, it could be a Cheep, it could be a T-Rex, it could be a manhole cover on the ground, it could be a tree, it could be a zipper.
It could be a
You just
steak.
kind of take
It
everything
could be
over.
a
It
weird
can be
onion thing
steak.
with long growing legs. It could be anything you want it to be, so long as it's within the capture list.
And that
But the
really
capture
is the
list
bread
is
and butter,
like
though.
60 things long out of 115 or so different things. So it's like half of the total things in the game you can turn into.
Yeah, I mean, that is the core of the game. The core platforming is there, but pretty much everything you take over for a reason of getting through the world. The onion guy is a great example. You kind of take him over, he kind of just wanders along on the ground until you hit Y. When you hit Y, his legs extend out, allowing you to get up really high walls really quickly. If you're doing cheap, you can breathe underwater, swim really fast underwater.
If you're a
T-Rex,
starfish, well,
the
yeah, T-Rex just crushes everything.
T-Rex stomps the shit out of everything. The starfish is the like water jet one, I think.
Yeah, starfish is the water jet. You could be a hammer bro, which hops around, jumps around, and throws hammers so you can break stuff.
And
Uh,
fire, bro.
that's true, but fire bro just kills stuff. It doesn't really break stuff. You can be magma bubbles in the Luncheon Kingdom to
Which
allow
are
you to
really fun.
traverse the
Excuse
lava.
me, they're called potaboos.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I wish you could turn into a Magneto, but you can't.
But you can
They're my
also.
favorite. Magneto is just the thing in the Luncheon Kingdom. It's just an angry tomato, but when you kill it, it turns into a lava puddle that you can jump into as the fireball.
Found something that would go well with crabs.
Maybe. But, there's so many different things that you can turn into, and a lot of the transformations that you do take on, they do allow you to do boss fights as those specific transformations.
That is a good point. I mean, there's boss fights in there that are entirely built around stacking up Goombas so that you can get high enough to jump up on top of things. The onion guy isn't it? It's in one of the boss fights where you use his leg extensions to get underneath things and destroy them. Um,
Being the magma bubble, you climb up the lava vomit of
that one, yeah.
oh my god, I don't remember the name of the bird. I think it was like Flombird or something stupid like that. It was
It
It
just
was
was
a pun.
coocatrees. Coocatrees. Like
yeah,
cockatrices. Cook.
yeah,
Trees.
yeah.
Don't ask him how I know this.
No, it was the cockatoo. That's what it was. Not a cockatrice, but a cockatoo. Um, and you climbed up his weird lava vomit to beat him up in the face, or you were the starfish fighting an octopus, or you steal Bowser's hat and then you were playing arms. Like, there's a lot of different things.
I'm
But
just
all
glad
of
you can't take over a chocolate starfish.
Limp Biscuit joke.
Hey,
really,
it didn't make it in the last cut, so I had to make it in this cut.
You're gonna make Marl go robot again.
You right?
you're
I'm gonna shut up
horrible.
now.
You're just horrible. But anyways, like they clearly took the time to really polish the bread and butter mechanic of the game.
I mean that out of everything in there, I have my gripes with the progression in there, but the fact that the hat was so well used was kind of unusual even for them. Like Mario Sunshine, you kind of used Flood in a few of the boss fights. A lot of them, it kind of felt inconsequential for more than a hover mechanic to me. Mario 64 was obviously pretty core platformer. The Galaxy games are pretty core platformer. So the fact that they had the hat in there and they allowed you to spend so much time playing as Mario, but not really Mario, is kind of impressive given how much fun it was the whole time.
Yeah. One of the things I really liked about Cappy compared to Flood, just that like the most notable fight you have with Flood is just fighting the giant inky manta ray. And that's it. That's like the fight where he's the most important.
The split one at the hotel.
Yeah, the original hotel fight, the first ever one when once you get to that world originally. Before you fight,
Yeah.
King Boo or anything like that. You literally you are in a giant area and you have to use Flood to defeat a manta ray that continues to split up into smaller and smaller pieces. So it's not too bad. And that's like really the only time where you're really dependent to get anything done. You can rig the system for like the last fight with Bowser. You can break it quite clearly. There are ways around being dependent on Flood to succeed in that battle. For Odyssey, almost every boss fight where you are not as Mario is really fun, interesting, and rewarding in different ways that you don't really run into. And sometimes in that fight, you can turn into Mario, so you can speed up the fight as the starfish versus the octopus by becoming Mario and doing a ground pound rather than just spraying a water jet on top of the octopus. But even then, that's like a cool tech mechanic that just speeds up your ability to fight the boss, not necessarily what makes the boss fight really fun. So there's a lot of things about how much effort they put into making Cappy fun and exciting and interesting to use that wasn't necessarily really looked into at all for Sunshine, and definitely wasn't a factor at all with like the Galaxies or Super Mario 64.
Anyway, that's all I got about this one. I guess to wrap it up for me, I think the progression has problems, but I still think the game is worth playing. It's perhaps not the best game on the Switch this year. It's going to be hard for any game to compete with Breath of the Wild, but I think it's another game that makes a case for you should get a Switch once again for the entire purpose of playing Nintendo's games.
Yeah. If you don't own a Switch, or you didn't buy it because of Breath of the Wild, I definitely recommend buying it for Odyssey. There are other games coming out later as well. I mean, there is Stardew Valley on the Switch now. There's several pretty fun and interesting indie games you can get for like $15 each. Yono and the Celestial Elephant is one that I enjoy.
Golf
And
Story.
Golf Story, Stardew Valley, which I already mentioned. There's Wolfrat, I think is what it's called, which is just like an old style beat 'em up, except it's Norse centered. There's a lot of fun stuff on the Switch. Oh, and then there's like also Splatoon 2 if you care about that at all.
I mean, Splatoon 2 is pretty good. Mario Kart 8's good. ARMS is good.
I care about
If
Splatoon
Fire Emblem
2,
Warriors is good.
and
you
now I
want,
don't care.
yeah. If you
Yeah.
want third party, you can do like Puyo Puyo Tetris is a really good multiplayer. The Super Bomberman R was really good multiplayer. So there's stuff out there already that's
Oh
definitely
yeah,
worth playing.
Snipper Clips exists. Which is
And it just came out with an expansion.
Yes. I can't believe I forgot about that. Snipper Clips is great. I love it. It's fun and interesting for a puzzle game. And you can play with up to 4 people. Woo!
Which you definitely should.
Yeah. I mean, single player is fine too, but like at least play with one other person because it makes it fun and exciting.
And that's
And
why
it's
the Switch is portable, so you can go out and make friends. Jazz hands.
friends. I
Jazz
don't have
hands.
friends like to play games with in
Jazz
actual
hands.
time with people and jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
What is this? Going to a live event? No. That's not our MO. Our MO is playing games hold up in our bedroom or our living room and then talking about them on a podcast. Don't go off brand, Alberto.
Aww.
Not
Gotta
yet.
do it our way.
Maybe soon, but not now. We gotta change the brand. We gotta build the brand. We gotta sell the brand. I work retail too much.
I mean, I've been there, done that too, and probably will be doing that again here soon if I get a freaking call back.
True. Cause like Black Friday's around the corner. Yay! 12-hour shifts. Hordes of customers. But realistically, all I want to do is play Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But
just
that's
paid off
coming
that
out
game today.
later. I'm picking it up on Friday because we're dating the podcast.
Wait, is that out this Friday?
Yeah, seriously, like it is the most unreal thing ever. There is a new Pokemon game out literally this Friday. It doesn't feel like it at all. It's weird. I don't know if it's because it's like Black 2 and White 2 kind of release, but like this is a huge expansion on Sun and Moon's original story. It expands on it, it evaluates on it, evolves it.
But
But-
doesn't Mega Evolve it.
No, there's no Mega Evolutions because they made Z Crystals instead.
I
which
thought
I'm
they were
okay
bringing
with.
Mega
They did.
Evolutions back.
They did.
Well, Mega Evolutions never really went away, but like they're introducing more Ultra Beasts, one of which is a clown microphone that looks like an ice cream.
Yee.
Sick. Well,
The other
I guess I know
ones-
what I'm playing for Thanksgiving, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, and it's weird for you guys to talk about Friday because I'm going to the midnight release on Thursday, so I'm technically picking it up on Thursday.
I'm picking it up Friday morning at work, even though I don't have work that day. Yay!
Yay.
Going to work on my off days because I work in an electronics retailer.
I wish I worked at electronics retailers too, sometimes.
I mean, you could always get a job at GameStop. It's something.
I've heard the stories.
It was a joke, my friend. But anyways, Mario Odyssey is pretty great. I give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. Weiss, what's your arbitrary grade?
Worth playing out of 10.
Very good. That's all for today. That's all for this week. We'll be back sometime later. Thank you for listening to Video Game Rap.
Well done.
Wait, what about my outro? No.
Rip.